The Kender are returning to Dungeons & Dragons in 5th edition, and some people are excited and others are trembling in fear that the Kender are returning to Dungeons & Dragons. Let's talk about their troubled past, why people are kind of afraid that they are returning, and why I personally believe they aren't going to be as bad as they were in the past. Let's get into it. So for those of you who don't know, a new Unearthed Arcana came out with a bunch of different things from Dragonlance. With this new Unearthed Arcana, we got the Kender, a return of a race that has been around since Dragonlance, so around since the beginning of Dungeons & Dragons. And like I said up front, a lot of people aren't that thrilled, and I'll explain why. So, if you're unfamiliar with the Kender race, it is kind of a mix-up between a gnome, a dwarf, and a halfling. Some lore says it's a descendant of gnomes, some say it's a first cousin to dwarves. But anyway, they are very childlike creatures. They actually look childlike. And there's some things about this race that DMs and players don't usually like. The first thing being is that in past editions, Kender don't believe in personal property, which you can see can turn bad, specifically if you have a problematic player who likes to steal from the party. They could just be like, oh, well, it's what the Kender do. They don't believe in private property. Along with that, they are fearless to a fault. That means they could run and try to jump over a volcano. That is something possible that Kender would do. Along with that, in previous lore, it says they were as cruel as children, so also giving your problematic player an excuse to just be rude to the party, which is not great. And it is said in the past that they have curiosity that will most likely get them killed. They usually live to 100 unless the curiosity kills them. So you can see the main problem with the Kender is it kind of enabled players who were already problematic at the table to become even more insufferable by playing a Kender. That's not saying that all people who played Kender played it like that. There was probably way more people who played Kender normally and had really fleshed out characters. But, you know, we hear the stories of that one person who just takes it a little bit too far. Now, let's talk about Kender in 5th edition, in the Unearthed Arcana, because I believe there is hope for this Kender. First of all, there is no discussion on how they feel about private property. They still have the curiosity, they still have a little bit of the fearlessness. Actually, it shows in their stat block. It actually says in their new lore that, that they have a magical way of pulling things out of their pockets and out of bags. They're not sure where it comes from, but it makes people believe they're thieves. So I see this as a way of Dungeons & Dragons being like, hey, we know the reputation Kender had. They can still grab things randomly, but they don't know where it comes from, and they're not actually thieves, which I really like. What are your thoughts on this? I know it is a very hot topic in Dungeons & Dragons. I mean, if you've been on Twitter or anything, you've known that many people are talking about this. So I would really love to hear what your thought on this player race is. And yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you guys all next time. Be excellent to each other.